As the third phone ring echoed loudly, Go Eun-seo, buried in a mountain of documents and blueprints, answered the speakerphone with an irritated voice. After a brief pause to inhale, a familiar, soft baritone voice flowed out with a bright laugh, and for a fleeting moment, a faint smile touched her lips, but it quickly disappeared as she focused on her work. While Eun-seo rummaged through the pile of blueprints, the laughter subsided, but the voice that followed was still full of playfulness. What if it wasn't me, but someone else or a client? He asked. Because I knew it was you, she replied. I haven't even said hello yet, he retorted. And she snapped back. Are you stupid? Where have you been wandering around these days that you haven't seen the commercials? Watch the 1X commercial. There's a feature where the ringtone is different for each person, right? That's what it is for me. It's good to be able to pick and choose, although it's sometimes confusing. Eun-seo spread the blueprint she found wide on the desk, put on the glasses she had hung on her collar, and carefully examined the blueprint. There was such a good phone? Geez, if I had known sooner. At his exclamation, she retorted, It's your fault. It seems like I haven't heard from you for a month or two. I thought you had died somewhere far away. Hey, if that were the case, a death notice would have been sent. Geez, were you sulking because I didn't contact you? I'm always messing up construction projects. At her words, he said, It's okay. I'm glad to see you're still alive. And she retorted, Of course. You have to listen to people until the end, he added. Eun-seo drew a red circle on one part of the blueprint, stretched her back, and smiled playfully at the phone. I've already made your coffin, you know. How disappointed would I be if you were lying in another coffin? As she spoke mischievously, a suffocating cough and then laughter followed. Go, Eun-seo, you're too much. You've become so defiant after not seeing me for a few months. At his scolding, she said, Don't tell me what I want to say, just tell me what you need. I'm busy. She grabbed the next blueprint and immersed herself in work again. Are you free later? It's been a while. We should meet. I'll buy dinner, he asked. And she replied, Of course you should. 8 o'clock at Bitna. See you then, and hung up the phone without hesitation. It seemed like he was saying something at the end, but she had nothing on her mind except the blueprint she was looking at. That day at 8:20 p.m., Eun-seo hurriedly headed to the meeting place. She had forgotten about the appointment because she was buried in work. Thanks to that, she couldn't even go home and had to go out wearing the same clothes she had worn in the morning. But she wasn't worried. He wasn't the type to care about such things. I knew it. You're 20 minutes late. A fine of 2,000 won, Park Do-hyun, who was sitting across from Eun-seo, suddenly reached out his hand as soon as she sat down. Shut up. You should be grateful that I even came. If I didn't have an appointment to meet you, I would still be in the office. It's hot. Order something cold, she said bluntly. Of course, he said, and ordered a cola full of ice without complaint, as if he were used to it. Eun-seo, who had just drunk more than half of the cola in front of her, looked at Do-hyun, who was wiping the cola dripping from her chin with a fresh gaze. He was tall, about 190 centimeters, with tanned skin as if he had been in a sunny place, and a playful face. Park Do-hyun, you're really handsome, she exclaimed. Do-hyun, who was looking at her with his chin resting on one hand, blinked his wide eyes a few times and then smiled. Did you just realize that? I've always been handsome, he joked. And she said, Oh my, I can't say anything. So, where have you been, wandering around all this time? Ask me nicely. Ask me nicely. A woman, you see. Do-hyun, who was talking, saw the fist held out in front of him, leaned back slightly, and raised his hand. Ah, I got it. I got it. I've been in Europe all this time, he confessed. And she asked, Europe? For a photo shoot. A friend from college inherited a castle and converted it into a hotel this time. So I went to take promotional photos of it, he explained. And she said, Show it to me when it comes out. Of course I will. More than that, let's go out when you're done drinking. I know a good place, he said. And she asked, Can I trust you? And he confidently replied, Of course. Okay, let's go, she shouted. Is your stomach okay? As lunchtime approached, Do-hyun, who was still lying in bed, burst out laughing at Eun-seo's curses coming through the phone. Surely, how could I dare to tease you? Haha, no, I don't have work today. I haven't taken on any work yet, you see? So, I'm on the bed right now. Hey, he said slyly. And he took the phone away from his ear and buried his face in the pillow to hide his laughter. Damn it. Someone is holding their aching stomach and painful head and working, but their friend is lying in bed so carefree. She grumbled, and he chimed in. That's right. What a bad guy. Even after taking a shower, he kept laughing. Go, Eun-seo. She had been his best friend for 26 years, and thanks to her outspoken and cheerful personality, she easily became friends with people of all ages. And to him, she was more like a younger sister or a comfortable male friend than a woman. Compared to him, who was a freelancer, she was tied to a job and always envied his freedom. It's amazing that she's still employed with that personality. He chuckled at the thought and headed to the kitchen, rubbing his stomach, which had been begging for food for a while. He opened the refrigerator and made a hollow expression. Of course, they cleaned everything out because I was away from home for so long. He was about to go get clothes to go to a restaurant when the doorbell rang. I wonder who would come at this hour. He tilted his head and opened the door, and a restaurant delivery man was standing there smiling. Eun-seo asked me to do this morning, said the delivery man. He felt grateful for her consideration and looked for his wallet to pay. Wait a minute, to pay, he said. And the delivery man replied, No, Eun-seo already paid. Just enjoy your meal. Having finished his meal, Park Do-hyun checked his watch and hurriedly got dressed. After checking his wallet, he headed to the office where Go Eun-seo worked, his heart filled with anticipation of seeing her. At that moment, Go Eun-seo was already on her third cup of coffee since morning. Her secretary, Kim Bo-ram, whispered with a worried look, Shall I buy you some bread? You haven't had breakfast, and drinking only coffee will upset your stomach. Go Eun-seo forced a smile and shook her head, replying, It's okay. I'll just have lunch a little earlier instead. Kim Bo-ram expressed her concern, saying, Please do. Let me know if you need anything. And Go Eun-seo replied briefly, Okay. Okay. As Kim Bo-ram left the office, Go Eun-seo gulped down the remaining coffee in her cup and leaned back deeply in her chair. While heading to work in the morning, she had ordered Park Do-hyun's meal from her favorite restaurant near her house, and after talking to him a little while ago, she had called the restaurant to request delivery. She asked Kim Bo-ram, Kim Bo-ram, I'm going to take a nap. Don't wake me up until 12 o'clock unless it's urgent. And Kim Bo-ram encouraged her to rest, saying, Of course, good idea. Then sleep well. Leaning back on the long chair placed against the window, Go Eun-seo thought of Park Do-hyun. Although the interior design work she was doing now was something she enjoyed, being confined to a small office for more than 8 hours a day was a frustrating routine for her active personality. So she always envied him, who had a free spirit. But what could she do? The contract here wouldn't end for another 6 months. Lost in thought, she drifted off to sleep, picturing him having his meal. When she's awake, she's a devil. But when she's asleep, she's an angel. Park Do-hyun smiled as he looked at the sleeping Go Eun-seo, having come to her company at her lunchtime. Kim Bo-ram, who followed him in, said with a pitiful expression, Eun-seo must have been very tired. I heard she didn't have breakfast. Park Do-hyun revealed the reason for taking care of her, saying, That's why I came. I'm going to give this one some nutritional support. Kim Bo-ram recommended a place to eat, saying, Eun-seo is lucky. She has a friend like Do-hyun. Ah, there's a delicious Korean restaurant across the street. I've been there with Eun-seo a few times, and it was pretty good. After Kim Bo-ram disappeared, Park Do-hyun looked down at her for a while longer, then sat next to her and woke her up. Hey, Go Eun-seo, wake up. At his call, Go Eun-seo blinked a few times and looked at him with dazed eyes. Huh? What's going on? At this hour? To her question, he replied, I owe you breakfast. Go wash up. I'll buy you lunch. Go Eun-seo, who was only shuffling the food on the table, looked up and stared at Park Do-hyun, who was looking at her with a frown. Huh? I'm not sick. To her words, Park Do-hyun expressed his concern, saying, "Then why are you like this? You usually finish more than half, but you haven't even taken a spoonful." Only then did Go Eun-seo look down at the food in front of her and smile awkwardly at him, saying, "Was I? It must be because my hangover hasn't worn off yet. You eat a lot instead." After somehow finishing lunch, they headed back to Go Eun-seo's office. "Are you really okay? Take a day off if you're sick." To Park Do-hyun's concern, Go Eun-seo reassured him, saying, "No, I'm fine. Don't worry and go." After reassuring the worried Park Do-hyun, Go Eun-seo sent him out and took care of a few urgent tasks before taking a nap until quitting time. Eun-seo is dating a guy. After meeting up with friends to catch up on news while Park Do-hyun was away for the first time in a while, he unknowingly slammed down the glass he was holding at the unexpected news. "That's right. It's rumored among the kids." Hiding his shock at his friend's words, Park Do-hyun retorted, "You must be kidding. Isn't she just making another friend? You guys know. She always says that no matter how handsome a guy is, she's been through so much that she doesn't see them as the opposite sex." Then one of his friends shook his head and said, "We thought so too." But this time it seems like it was really serious. "We were surprised too. You know Yoon Ji-hae, that girl's friend? She said that there was even talk of an engagement." When Park Do-hyun asked, "And then?" His friend replied, "That gigolo ran off with Yoon-seo's friend, Choi Soo-ah." "Oh my god." So that's why. Park Do-hyun seemed to be unexpectedly shocked and could only stare at his friends without saying anything. There was a reunion of alumni a while ago, and Yoon-seo wasn't herself. It was the first time I'd ever seen her like that. To his friend's words, another friend lamented, "She already treats men like stones, but that gigolo probably made her even worse." After that, many more words were exchanged, but Park Do-hyun couldn't hear anything. Only the image of Go Eun-seo floated in his mind. Arriving home late after the long-awaited meeting, he headed to her house across the street, but her house was tightly locked. Puzzled, he listened to the message she had recorded on his answering machine saying that she was going on a business trip, and muttered a few curses under his breath. In the end, he saw her again that Saturday. As he was developing the photos of the fortress walls he had taken yesterday, the doorbell rang. "Who is it?" To his question, he heard a shout. "It's me. Open it quickly. It's heavy." When Park Do-hyun opened the door, the first thing he saw was a large laundry bundle. "What is it?" To his question, Go Eun-seo said, "I'll explain later, so just take this," and headed straight to his laundry room, leaving him with the load. "Did you move out?" To Park Do-hyun's question, Go Eun-seo replied, "Don't be ridiculous. My washing machine is broken, so I came to freeload off you." Park Do-hyun said, "Make dinner as payment for freeloading." And Go Eun-seo readily agreed, saying, "Sure." Go Eun-seo, who came in with a smile, headed to the bathroom. "I was crazy. It's not like I've only been dealing with men for a day or two. How could I fall for a guy like that?" Go Eun-seo, who was still weak with alcohol, began to slur her words after 2 cans of beer, and Park Do-hyun, who was watching her with concern, quickly snatched the next can as she reached for it and placed it next to him. Then Go Eun-seo looked at him with a puzzled expression. "What? What's wrong?" "I know. You're going to eat it all by yourself, aren't you?" To her words, Park Do-hyun replied, "Yeah, I'm going to drink it, so you stop." How stingy. Go Eun-seo glared at the can that had been taken from her and at him alternately, then suddenly stood up and staggered towards the door.